Okay, so class, let's take a look. So class, basically we are still in the great vehicle. So in the great vehicle, we have already finished the dana parami, the precept parami, the patience parami, and the diligence parami. Now we are in the concentration parami. Okay, basically for the concentration, cessation, and the vipassana, they are the major component in the 6 parami. And the concentration is so important. Now, actually, we are still talking about the obstacle for the concentration. So they use a different name, but basically still the same only in the 3 vehicle. Class, let's take a look. We stop in the verse number 150. Okay, so let's take a look. In our previous lessons, in previous lesson, we talked about 149. Right mindfulness of the object to which one has become accustomed can keep the mind from being scattered. Remembering clearly by not losing mindfulness, the object of focus abides calmly and is revealed clearly. So class, in the previous lesson, we talked about the right mindfulness. Basically, for the right mindfulness, he used a little bit different word. He said, don't forget the sage word actually is the right mindfulness. Basically, as long as we have mindfulness, we're always mindful to our object. The accumulation of the mindfulness will become the concentration, the samadhi. All right. So this is where we stop in the previous lesson. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay. Nevertheless, since this method can bring order to the mind and eradicate boundless erroneous thought, shall this method not also be considered a practice of binding the mind to one thing? So now we go to the 150. Okay. Yeah, Sally, can you please read it out?
The objects of mindfulness taught by the sages are able to purify the mind of illusion, to correspond with the truth, and to lead to renunciation. Where should the mind be focusing before one has practiced to the point of attaining concentration? The sages say that there is no set object of focus. However, this does not mean that it can be just anything, but rather that among the various objects that can serve as an object of mindfulness, no single one is specified. The Yogacharins have said that there are 4 types of objects of focus: those that are universal, those that purify, those that are skillful, and those that purify illusion. All the objects of focus taught in scriptures according with 2 major principles. They have the ability to purify the mind of illusions, and they correspond with the truth. All who focus on such objects to cultivate the binding mind can gradually subdue afflictions or eliminate them. Only then can right concentration be initiated. Such concentration is attained through the practice of departing from desire afflictions. Objects of focus may be common to the world or world transcending, but only those that can lead towards the way of renunciation through the elimination of illusions and the realization of the truth are worthy objects. If one focuses on absurd or irrational objects, one will only increase one's afflictions. If one focuses on sexual desires, enemies, or meaningless things such as soil, wood, and rocks, one will be extremely lucky not to go insane, and one should forget about attaining concentration.
Okay, thank you so much. How come, Sally, they got so many, how should I put it? So many extra noise. Okay. How about my mic test? Is this good? My mic test is good. Sally, I mean, during your reading, we can see so many background noisy sound. Okay. Yeah. Sally finish the stomach. Okay. Okay, class. Now we talk about the object of the meditation. Basically, okay. Yeah, class. Can you roughly tell me? Okay, so far in Mahayana or maybe in Erdi, what is the meditation object? Have you ever learned before? Elena, can you quote some? Yeah, in Mahayana, basically, what are we used to practice in Mahayana?
People forgotten already.
No, you see, if you go to Mahayana, you do the chanting, right? Okay. So meaning to say, chanting the sutra is one of the object, right? Okay. So we're chanting the sutra, all right. Besides in Mahayana, what do we do again?
Mahayana. Meditation.
Meditate on what in Mahayana? Amitabha, and then then Yasafo, then what else the mantra? What else the mantra?
地藏王经.
Di Zhang Jing. What else the mantra? What type of mantra? What mantra we have been chanting before? Mantra.
大悲咒.
大悲咒. You see all these things, right? And then we also Sui Chan. See, not okay. Okay, so meaning to say that, but in Mahayana, we don't know. Number one, okay, if let's say you chant Di Zhang Pusa, okay, you also need Da Bei Zhou. But what to do? If let's say, can you chant Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun? Sally, if you keep on chanting Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun, what will be the consequence you think?
Nothing.
You mean it doesn't work?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Okay, you see, this is a good question. You see, once we chant Guan Yin and Guan Xing Pusa, this is repetitive. Okay, then we believe that after the repetitive, there will be the samadhi. And some people maybe can communicate with Guan Yin, with Si Guan Yin, wherever. Okay, why? If you keep on repeating Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun, you won't attain samadhi. How come? Sally, why you don't attain samadhi? We just repeat Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun, Deng Li Jun.
She don't have the power to help us.
Okay, so you see, this is a good question. Actually, we are discussing is about this area. Okay, so there's one thing we need to say that even though we do the chanting, even do the mantra, we do the mantra, but we don't simply just chant something like Deng Li Jun. It seems that we specify ourselves to the name of the Bodhisattva or the mantra from the Bodhisattva or the Buddha. Is this correct? Or it seems that there got some rules and regulation behind. Okay, I mean regards this. Okay, then you see, you come here, you learn Anapanasati, right? Mindful on the breathing. Okay, you remember I will show you the color contemplation. Remember? Okay, I show you the color. Okay, all right. Basically, I show you the color, maybe red. Okay, the blue. Okay, but have I ever tried? Have I ever tried to show you with the black color for a contemplation? Black? No, right? A chocolate? No, right? Okay. Have I ever tried to show you that contemplation with the chocolate of vocabulary as a meditation object? No, you don't, right? See, so it's meaning to say that the object is not just simply put something, even though you want to visualize the color, we didn't go to choose the chocolate vocabulary, we don't use it, you see. So meaning what it means what? Okay, it means that the subject we choose, number one, it won't afflict our trouble, our defilement. Because I think Sally chocolate is a Sally preference, right? So how can you just put the chocolate your preference as a meditation object, meaning to say that you keep on make your mind arise the attachment? How can you meditate well? Am I right? Okay. So same, if let's say you prefer the food, we don't use the food for the meditation object. Why? Because it will trigger your attachment, you see. For example, okay, we want to use the red color for meditation, but we don't go to get a pizza, right? Or red color pizza. No, because attachment, right? Because once we go to visualize the pizza, you try to trigger all the attachment, how the texture, how the cheese, the taste of the cheese, all this. So it's not. So we don't use it. So number one is the subject we use must be eradicate. I mean all the defilement and attain to the samadhi. Number one, okay, the subject we use. So that's why we don't see Deng Lijun because Deng Lijun, yes, as you said, she doesn't have the power, not like Guan Yin or what, because the name itself is also is the energy and the power, so we can use it to concentrate our mind. And second, even though we contemplate with the color, but we choose the color, okay, and also we choose the subject. For example, earth kasina, so we use the earth for contemplation, you see. So for metta bhavana, I mean for the fullness contemplation, they don't choose same sex. Why? Because even though in the beginning you are using a corpse for the as an object, but once you attain to the padibhaga nimitta, you know, the whole corpse will become beautiful, you see. If it's opposite sex, then the attachment may arise. So this is the reason why for the corpse, you must choose the same sex one, number one. And second, for the metta bhavana, there must be people who are still alive. If the people who pass away, you can't attain to the jhana. You see, not meaning to say that all the subject, there is some they are abide by some condition. You see, not. So this is number one. Then second, okay, the subject must be, we comply to the truth. What does it mean, comply to the truth? To comply to the truth meaning to say that you have to always contemplate our five aggregate. Okay, I have five aggregate, you see. We don't go to contemplate the television, you see. We know, okay, we are consist of five aggregate, like we got the mentality, materiality, the perception, everything. If let's say you go to analyze the television, you also can analyze it, become the screen, also abide by the condition, right? But we don't use television because television, you observe the television, it won't trigger the nibbana. So that's why you say the second condition as an object for meditation must comply with the truth. The truth means what? It must be based on our five aggregate, and you must visualize the anicca, dukkha, anatta of our five aggregate. So that's the point, you see. So we don't simply just bring something to visualize. Okay, like what the author said, number one, you may go insane. So after the meditation, you become insane already. And then the rest, as I mentioned, you just trigger the attachment. It's the same, you see. Basically, if you want to do the metta bhavana, your enemy is the last target. Why? Because not every people are ready for the enemy, because the enemy, watching the enemy can create our anger, so you should avoid that. You should avoid, you should be put at the last one. You must be success, with the metta with the people who you beloved, and also metta with the people who you respect, and metta to the target who is in the neutrality. Finally, that will be the enemy. So you see or not? So that is the principle it mentioned here. But since the text is from Mahayana, so sometimes after you read it, you don't know what it's about. But English even better than classical Chinese. But anyway, it's quite an exception for Elena, because after injection, I think he can understand the classical Chinese better than me, I think. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, yeah. So this is all actually here. You highlight here is from the Chinese text. From what tradition? Yogacarin. So I think maybe you are not, you don't really remember Yogacarin. Let me remind you a little bit. Yogacarin actually is from Yogacara. So let's see. Yogacara. Okay, from the words of the yoga. So yoga means the yoga practice. I mean the unity. Yoga not really is the yoga. I mean not really the yoga we see now. In Buddhism we still use yoga, the word, meaning to say they are those who work hard in the meditation is still considered as a yoga. Not the asanas. Don't confuse over this. Let's take a look. You see, Yogacara, literally yoga practice, is the influential tradition of the Buddhist philosopher. Class, they are quite active in the northwest part of India. Let's take a look. They are more active in the northwest part of India. Yeah, so it's this part, Yogacara. In the Kashmir and the Jammu, plus they are active here. Kashmir and the Jammu, which I always recommend Elena to go. Why? Because due to the beauty, Kashmir and Jammu. So Yeah, this is the Kashmir and Jammu. This is the location. For the Yogacharin. They're active here. They was activating here. Let's take a look. Kashmir and Jammu, here is it. So Elena, Kashmir and Jammu. So always take a look. Jammu and Kashmir. You see the place. Class, can you imagine? Thousands, 100 years ago, it belongs to the Buddhism under the Sarvastivadin, you see. Yes. Elena, would you like to conquer the place after the MCO? No, go lah.
China first.
China first. Okay. Anyway, if let's say Elena, you really go, don't forget the museum. I suspect if they got the thing because this is where the real the origin of the Mahayana is a fourth council of the sutra happening there, Kashmir and Jammu. Sarvastivadin and Yogacharin, they are active there. Why? Because according to our sutra, it mentioned the mountain place. You see, this is the mountain place. You always feel the cool, you know. So, meaning to say that at this place, you seldom see the insects and also the snake. So this place is very suitable for a meditation. There is we hear the saying mentioned that if you want to find the Yogacharya, the meditation master, you should go to the northwest part of India. But you want to look for the Abhidhamma, the teaching of the teacher. Most of the teachers they are gathering here in the northern part of India. So this is a simple way how we segregate where the meditation master stay and where is the Abhidhamma teacher stays. You see. And one thing is Abhidhamma teacher basically they have to stay in the place without wall. Like now you see we are still can learn Dharma because most of our students is not influenced yet, you know. But if let's say one day maybe they start to raise up the white flag, I think it's time to end our Dharma class already. Right? Not or everybody want to raise the white flag, meaning to say that it's not time for the Dharma study already. Now meaning to say that we are still okay, you see. I also hope that basically if there's a war and there's an epidemic, it's very serious. All the Dharma, they cannot be popular at that time. Okay, this is the Yogacharin. Let's take a look. Yogacharin. So okay, it's termed as a Vajñanavata. Yeah, let's take a look. Doctrine of the idea and the precept. Let me see. Yeah, not much thing. So Yogacharin, maybe you just copy down. Literally, yoga practice or those practice in yoga. So this is a Yogacharin, the meaning of. Sorry, let me search for a more specific term for you. Yogacharin. Yogacharin, a practitioner of adherent of the Yogacara. The origin is about late 19th century from Sanskrit. Yogacharin used as a noun of a Yogacharin of all relating to the Yogacara. So class, please copy down Yogacharin, a practitioner or adherent of a Yogacara. But Elena, I think you better don't plan for Kashmir and Jammu because I worry for being bombed. No, there's still some civil war there, you know. You know that still civil war. The place quite chaotic. Well, I don't know why. I feel quite sad because you know not. Before the horizon of the Muslim, the place all belongs to the Buddhist. You see, you need to say that the people meditate on the mountain, on the cave. Just you can feel the peace there. But just since the horizon of the Muslim, then the whole Middle East are all gone already. Always in the war, you see, because I don't know why these religions they prefer war a little bit compared with the Buddhists. Okay, class, we go further a little bit. You see how now we got 4 types of object. You see, number one, a universe. Okay, purified conduct, meaning to say that basically it's a samadhi will purify the conduct, and they are the skillful, because they got numerous skill for a meditation. Okay, then purify the illusion. Plus, the purify the illusion is the vipassana. The universe is also the vipassana. Plus, you can do a little bit notes. The object universe and also purify illusion. These two are vipassana. Purify conduct and the skillful are samatha. So major principle, purify the mind of illusion. Yeah, this is the vipassana. Wait, let me see. And correspond with the truth is the vipassana. Purify the mind of illusion. I think this one we can interpret as a vipassana and samatha both. We can use it both. Number one, you see, gradually subdue the affliction or eliminate them. If it's a subdue affliction, it's a samatha. Okay. If eliminate, you need to say that it's a vipassana. So plus, you just have some notes over that. You see, okay, the method must be able to lead to the way of the renunciation through the elimination of illusion and then realization of the true worthy object. So meaning to say that as soon as you can, the object can help you for realize the truth and eliminate the illusion, that will be the good subjects. Okay, it shouldn't afflict all the desire, all these things to come up. It shouldn't. In Visuddhimagga, there's totally 40 meditation subject. So number one is the color kasina, okay, and also the earth, water, fire kasina, wind kasina. So they use it as a kasina. So this is the very obvious one. Then we will try to recollect the virtue of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and we use the foundness, the body, as the meditation subject. And then besides this, we also will use the 4 elements within our body. You see, so meaning to say most of the subject is in our body. Okay. And then this is the thing. Then also we have to recollect the virtue of the Buddha. So this is why they can become our subjects. So next paragraph, let's take a look. Mr. Leung, your turn to read. Please try to counteract, Mr. Leung.
To counteract and subdue afflictions, they are contemplations of impurity to counteract greed, contemplations of kindness and compassion to counteract anger, contemplations of dependent origination to counteract ignorance, contemplations of the realms of those of the sense organs to counteract attachment to the concept of the self, and the mindfulness of breathing to counteract mental scatteredness. In this way, one can apply different methods to counteract increasingly strong afflictions. There are also methods that correspond with the truth, focusing on the aggregates, on the realms of the sense organs, on sensations, on dependent origination, and on cause and effect. 5 skillful means to eliminate ignorance. Objects of focus that are world transcending and are able to eliminate illusions have a common characteristics. All are without an independent existing self and are by nature empty. All such objects of focus are common to both cessation and contemplation. Holding the mind on these objects, making it stay without being scattered and without any further investigation, is called either non-meditating with respect to the image or samatha. This is the object of focus of cessation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Verse 151.
Okay, stop here first.
Thank you.
Out the mic, please. Okay, class, take a look. Now, actually, the author provide us an example here. Class, you see, to counteract the great is a contemplation of purity. Sometimes we call it as a foulness contemplation. All right. Counteract anger is a kindness and compassionate. We call it as a metta bhavana. Okay, meditation of lovingness. Sometimes we call it as dependent originations to ignorance. Basically, the dependent origination is partial of the is a vipassana. It's not that easy to begin with vipassana. And this is a contemplation of a realm of a sense organ. We call it as a 4-element meditation. Class, please write down. This is a proper name now. 4 elements meditation can help you to counteract attachment to the concept of the self. Then next is the breathing to counteract the scatteredness. All right. So you see, regarding correspond to the truth will be the aggregate, the realm of the sense organ, meaning to say, we call it as a 5 aggregates. This is called as a 6 root. Okay. And the dependent origination, you see. The common characteristic is they are all without independently existing self and are by nature empty. Class, how do we understand that? You see, for example, this is a 5 aggregate. We got our materiality. Basically, this is our materiality. We go to analyze to the finest particle point. We notice that within the finest particle point, we were able to see the most fundamental of the 8 elements: the water, earth, fire, and the wind. And then you will see the other 4, or we call it as a and this is 4 of the material and then other 4 materiality which have been formed by the previous 4 one. Okay, so that is the fundamental we see. So this in the simple way said, all of our materiality are still empty, is emptiness by its nature, even though our how to say our mentality. Okay, we notice that once we hear a sound, for example, now, okay, this is a sound. Okay, according to the Abhidhamma, there will be a series of a different mental movement with a different function will arise according to the order. You see, so this is it means what? For every mental, they have a different function and a different name. And if you go to analyze within one of the mentality, you were able to see it consists of quite a variety, quite a vast variety of the mental state. We call it as a cetasika, mental factor. So this is it shows what? It shows that everything subjects to the subject to the condition, and they are emptiness in the nature. They are not solid by itself. You can't find something which is solid by itself. Everything must be consist of, the conditions. Yeah, Mr. Leong, any question? Yes.
Yes, Sifu, can you please share screen? Thank you.
Share screen? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sharing screen because I want to see you all now.
Now, okay, already okay.
Now, okay already. Okay, so no need to share screen now. You don't want to see me anymore. Okay, so let's take a look and see how. So that is the meaning here, you see. You see, I'm not differentiating with respect to the image of the samatha. So that is the meaning of the samatha. Mean you don't differentiate the respect of the image, you see. Okay, how do we understand and differentiate? Basically, class, if you notice the word differentiating, discern, okay, analyze, so this is relates to the vipassana. Because in vipassana, you must be able to discern what are the basic components in our form, in our materiality and the mentality. But if you see something, we don't different it, meaning to say that we just we just see that as a we just see as a concept by itself. We don't analyze it, then we will be more on samatha. Okay, so you have to know these two things clearly. So make sure that you wouldn't confuse whether you do vipassana or samatha or vipassana samatha. You wouldn't confuse. You shouldn't confuse over this. Let's take a look. So this is our diagram. So basically, for the Bhagavata, the below is the precept. Let's take a look. Purification of the virtue. And here is the samadhi. So this is all I mean, in the middle, you are considered they are practicing the meditation. So here you start the vipassana, you see. So the name is knowledge of analyzing mind and matter. You see the analyzing and the knowledge of the discerning, you see. So meaning to say that once this the name, analyzing, discerning, comprehension, rise and fall, all the name appeared, meaning to say that you are doing vipassana. So class, do you get it? Okay, huh? So from the text, we immediately know, oh, this is samatha, this is the vipassana. We won't confuse. Why? Because if class, if you mistakenly deem vipassana as a samatha, the consequence and the outcome is quite terrible. Because vipassana will help you try to trigger the nibbana. But for samatha, just try to create the jhana. The jhana finally end up for the reincarnation, you know. Oh, but like in the history of our Mahayana, it happened before the misunderstanding between the samatha and the vipassana. And you know, according to the history of Buddhism, it's about, I think, 800 years, you know, after the Christ, you know, 600 to 800 years, a class, our dharma, the tendency from vipassana shift to samatha is getting more obvious, but we don't realize that. But the author realized why? Because the author, he is able to read 100 volumes of Tipitaka, and he know the history of Buddhism. So he noticed that once we about reached to the yoga, I mean the stage of the yoga, he realized that the people start to mistakenly apprehend that the samatha itself is the vipassana already. It is quite dangerous, you know. Oh, do you understand what I'm talking about? Can you feel how urgent? I think it seems like I enjoy what I'm talking. Yeah, because of what I read the text, I really can feel, you know, the author really have the urgency to clarify the thing, you see. Or if we really misunderstand it, let me need to say we are guiding people in the wrong way already, you see. Okay, especially for yogacara, they have a tendency for a samatha, you know. So sometimes through the text, it seems that samatha is not vipassana. People get confused already at that time, you see. Okay, so now we go back to the original text. Okay, next paragraph, 151. Oh, the whole thing happened. Okay, it's getting confused already. 304. Okay, what page we are? 258. Okay, your turn to read. Yeah, Elena, please.
151, the great vehicle. Most people practice mindfulness of a Buddha and mindfulness of breathing. Although there are many objects of focus that one can use for the practice of cessation, the ones that are used the most is Saravaka Dhamma, are the contemplation of impurity and the mindfulness of breathing, because they subdue greed and scatteredness and are easy ways to establish concentration. In the world of great vehicle Buddhism, however, most people practice mindfulness of a Buddha, mindfulness of breathing, mindfulness of breathing. So, mindfulness of breathing basically tends to emphasize the body. As the goal of the great vehicle is to become a Buddha, mindfulness of a Buddha is also important doctrine of the great vehicle. For example, if one can follow single-mindedly without scatteredness, easy path method of chanting the Buddha's name, one can attain the samadhi of mindfulness of a Buddha. But the key point in this method of mindfulness of a Buddha's physical appearance and virtues, or as it was called in the past, mindfulness of a Buddha's appearance and mindfulness of the contemplation of a Buddha. Following this method can lead towards superior world transcending jhana and contemplation, and thereby further leads to enlightenment. On a more superficial level, being mindful of a Buddha acts as a repentance for one's karmic obstruction and as a means to gather good roots. This method of being mindful of a Buddha includes both superficial and profound levels. From early on, some people have used mindfulness of a Buddha instead of the differentiation of the realms of the sense organs within the scheme of the 5 pure deeds of the great vehicles.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, since everything accidentally been highlighted, so let me try to tell you where's the point I wish to highlight. So class here, contemplation of impurity and the mindfulness of the breathing, and then śrāvaka. Please highlight the word śrāvaka, impurity, breathing. So this is this. In śrāvaka, basically, this three is more important. Class, nowadays, regarding the contemplation of impurity, the fullness contemplation, you are able to get a teacher in Thailand. In Thailand, you are still able to donate your corpse to the temple to learn the meditation. This is what's happening here. Let's take a look. So, fullness contemplation. See, a class, if possible, you go to Thailand, maybe you can join the group with the fullness contemplation, and somebody donate a skeleton for the meditation. Hey, Elena, possible? You don't just travel for fun, you go to travel for meditation. Possible? Hey, don't just travel for fun. Go one trip for the meditation. So just stay at the corpse for 7 days. Maybe also quite.
Oh, I come back, I become a corpse.
No, you become a skeleton. No what? You came back from Egypt, you did become mummy, right? Right? Okay. So next time we can include the meditation part as part of the traveling. So Sally just always think about the cherry blossom. No, so you can just add in some more meditation in your travel. To go to New Zealand, go to Thailand for the corpse of contemplation. Okay, so this is here the keywords. Okay, the mindfulness of breathing you can learn anywhere or easy. Okay, the great vehicle class. Please highlight the words great vehicle. All right. Okay, mindfulness of the Buddha, mindfulness of the breathing. Please highlight. Okay, emphasize the body. The keywords: emphasize the body. Okay, mindfulness of Buddha. Okay, it's also great important doctrine of the great vehicle. So mindfulness of the Buddha is very important for the great vehicle. Okay, and next. Okay, chanting Buddha name. Okay, please highlight chanting Buddha name. Mindfulness of the Buddha physical appearance and virtue. Please highlight. Mindfulness of the Buddha's appearance and the appearance and the virtue. Please. Okay, you see here. Okay, keywords: repentance of one karmic obstruction. Okay, and the mean of gather good roots. Okay, please. Okay, a class here, differentiation of the realm of the sense organ within the schema of the 5 pure deeds of the great vehicle. Please highlight the last sentence of number 1. From early on, people use the mindfulness of the Buddha instead of the differentiation of the realm of the sense organ within the schema of the 5 pure deeds of the great vehicle. Please highlight the whole thing. Okay, so what is the meaning? Class, take a look. According to the keywords we highlight, basically in Mahayana, meditation for the breath and also meditation for the Buddha, they are the major meditation method. if let's say we meditation on the Buddha, basically we meditate on the virtue and also the appearance of the Buddha. But here we already transform it, we just chant the name, right? Amitabha, Amitabha, Amitabha. Basically, most of the people who chant the Buddha name, they don't really understand the virtue of the Buddha because the matter have been simplified already. So many things have been ignored and omitted. So class, let's take a look. And one thing happened in Mahayana, in the very early stage, the meditation of 4 elements is common in the very beginning. But when it goes to the era of the Mahayana, the method has been replaced by the recollection of the virtue of the Buddha already. There will be some changing, you see. So meaning to say that class, even though there's a meditation method, okay, in early, in the very beginning, it's in Indian, okay, especially in Bodhigaya. Maybe they will do the 4-element meditation. But once the Dharma, especially the monk, they try to move up to this part of Indian, they will be influenced by external influence, okay, and with some present condition. So it makes them feel that the contemplation of the Buddha is more urgent than the 4 elements. Well, there will be many reasons. Number one, maybe the monk themselves is not expert already. Like me, I don't expert all the method. I just expert 1 and 2, and even the Dharma, I don't expert all, you see. So we need to say that I cannot propagate the Dharma which I'm not familiar. So finally, this part will be ignored. Okay, and then so this is one reason. Second is because the capacity of the audience. See, sometimes once the Dharma go to the China, the Chinese people, they don't like Satipatthana, they don't like all this. What's their preference? Zen. They prefer the Western Pure Land. So meaning to say that the capacity of the audience is the second factor to decide which Dharma will remain in China, you see. So you get a point. So this is the reason why finally, the method is changing. And how do we know the change? From the sutra itself. Because the Nikaya had been compiled before the Christ, about 200, 300 years. We see the 4 elements there. And maybe before Christ 100 years, there's Abhidhamma, we are still able to see the 4-element method. So at the place is around Bodhigaya, and maybe just somewhere in the Western, not Indian, you see. But later on, when it's become the Mahayana, we notice that the method has been removed and replaced by other method. So people now are very smart because you just put up all the scripture, compare, what happened already. Nowadays, people are very smart, you cannot bluff them already. No, they cannot bluff us already because all the text in front of us. How can you bluff us, right? So nowadays, very different already, you see. Okay, so this is this paragraph. Now we go to the next one. Okay. Yes, whose turn? Sally, right? Yeah, please read it out. Besides
being mindful of Buddha, one can be mindful of bodhisattvas such as Master Guan Yin, and Samatha. Going a step further, since visual beings and yaksas are manifestations of Buddha and bodhisattvas, one may also use them. But this changes one's practice to one that is oriented towards divine beings. This is because the appearances of such Buddhas no longer look like liberated and kind. They have been transformed to look angry and greedy. In this method, Buddhas and divine beings have almost merged as one. The great and the divine vehicles are distinct. However, in practicing cessation, it's not the same as practicing contemplation. Therefore, even though practices focusing on these manifestations are also called mindfulness of the Buddha, whether in the end the emphasis is on the concentration and leads to entrance into the divine vehicles, or whether divine vehicle deeds are transformed and leads to the entrance into the Buddha vehicle, depends on whether the practitioners follow the distinctive features of the great vehicle. Correspondence with the 3 minds that guide one's practice.
Okay, thank you so much. class, you see, now the author try to guide us to see the development of the Buddhism, you see. Now, okay, according to the history, the first century in Indian, they should be the Mahayana, okay? The Mahayana, which is the middle contemplation. Madhyamaka, they are the major one. So after Madhyamaka, we go to Yogacara, okay? So Yogacara is the second one. So from Yogacara, it will transform to the Tathagata treasury, all right? So that's the third one. And after that, it go to the Tibetan Buddha, it go to the secret school. How do we know there's a transformation of the secret school? Because in the very beginning, the contemplation to the Guan Yin and the Bodhisattva, but later on, they start to contemplate to the Yaksa already. Let's take a look. You see, if you write down, okay, see, if you write Tibetan Buddhism, okay, not very clear. Maybe I will have to put the Tibetan Buddhism, the mandala, okay, okay, still not very clear. Okay, then maybe I will have to put is chakra. You see, Kala Chakra Mandala. Oh, no, still not yet. I have to use this. So class, I think you are impressed if you go to the Tibetan Buddhism, you will see this type of appearance appear, right? Okay, well, when the Buddhism go to this stage, I suspect possible, because Buddhism is starting lost their audience already, and they have to absorb the Hinduism, Buddhism at that time, the Yaksa, all this to go into the Buddhism in order to keep their audience, you see. Okay, class, for you, if you go to contemplate, if you assume that this is the manifestation of the Buddha, okay, this is a Buddha actually, but this is a manifestation with the anger. You see the anger element is stronger. If you from day and night, you keep on visualize this. Do you think can you go back to the nature of the Buddha or compassionate? Or maybe you will end up become anger. Elena, for you. With the Kala Chakra, this type of the statue.
Anger.
Anger, right? You see. So that's why in Tibetan Buddhism, not only this type of statue only. Sometimes you will see the statue with the yoga sex, right? You will see the people to unite together. This is why in the secret school, they call it the Buddhism have been mixed up already. So they will manifest with the greedy form and with the anger form. So anyway, maybe there must be some reason why Buddhism at that time they have to absorb this. Possible they have been challenged, lost their market. So in order for survive, but for their reason, they say this is all is a manifestation of the Buddha with a different form. That's what they say. But nowadays, if we have choice, basically we would encourage people go to visualize this type of thing. We worry we will end up with anger and greedy. You see, not many people can really to always to overcome this. You see, so class. If let's say you keep on visualize this and use it as a substitution for the Buddha or Bodhisattva, there's one possible that you will go to the divine vehicle. Exception with the exception that with the possessions of the trained mind. If you've got trained mind, then you will be maybe still in the great vehicle. Which one trained mind? Number one, bodhicitta. Remember, bodhicitta. The second, great compassionate. Okay, and the third one is the wisdom. If you don't have this three element, then you always you always use the Kalama chakra, all this the anger, greedy type for the visualization. You will end up become the divine vehicle. So class, do you get it? So that's the history of Buddhism. You see, from the time. Do I have a good chronicle of the history Buddhism for you or not? This is so important actually. So this is the school. Class, just now what we mentioned to you is the tantric school. Okay. So according to the history, this is the 2nd century to 1st Christ is the Mahasamgika. All right. Then Mahayana appeared from the 1st and the 3rd century is the Madhyamika, and the 3rd to the 4th is the Yogacarya. Then later on is the Tantric. Okay, I will send this for you. So it happened in the Indian from one era to other era. So you know that, meaning to say now in Malaysia, the Buddhism we absorb is the Buddhism from the whole Indian. I mean to say that of course the development of the Buddhism have to according to the era from time to time, and then from different era have the different features and characteristic. But when we absorb everything in already, so we start confused. How come sometimes there will be contradiction, right? So you come to Theravada, it seems that they eat the meat, they prefer meditation. You come to the Mahayana, we are all vegetarian, we do a lot of chanting. And then you go to Tibetan Buddhism, so many monster, Kalachakra, the greedy form of the Buddha statue. People just getting confused already. So this is why you have to learn the history of Buddhism to understand the development, how come it happened, and then you have to choose by yourself. If you learn everything by mixing up everything, you might mess up everything.